Yeah. Pull up a chair, let's get into it. This one's for the healers, the hopefuls, the real ones. Love talk. Hey, yeah. Wednesday morning, Friday evening, sometimes in between when your heart need a reason. Real conversations, no faking, no pretending. Every broken piece got a story worth amending. Self-love first, that's the rule of the game. Second chances coming for the ones still in pain. Healthy love is out here, baby, it's real. Open up your spirit, let the healing reveal. This is Love Talk with Martis, the love coach, where the truth needs to touch and the heart finds hope. Love Talk with Martis, the love coach, healing in the words, growing as you grow. Love Talk.
Hello everyone and happy Friday. Or should I say hello my loves. And welcome to another episode of Love Talk with Martis, the love coach. Today is Friday, so of course we're doing some love lessons. And I am so excited that you are here. Now, you know, I always have to give my disclaimer and I always have to be clear. This podcast is a safe space for real conversations about love, relationships, self-worth, challenges, and everything in between. Every week, I'll be answering listener letters, sharing self-healing gems, and offering encouragement. I'll also help you be building a healthier relationship, and the most important one is the one you have with yourself. So whether you're healing from a heartbreak, navigating grief, working on a confidence level, or simply looking for a little guidance, know that you're welcome here. You're in the right place. So go grab your coffee. It's Friday, so you know we like our cocktails or mocktails, or your tea, or your favorite drink. Get comfortable, and let's talk love.
Love Talk. Got a journal in your hand, do the work on your own. Page by page, you ain't walking alone. From the ashes of the old, see a brand new you. Trust in the process, let love come through. We talking boundaries, we talking grace. We talking falling for the right one in the right space. Real talk, soft heart, steady ground. It's the frequency, baby, turn the volume up loud.
Okay, my love. So today we're going to have a very real conversation. Some people may not like what I'm going to say, but that's okay. First, I want to say my voice is coming back, so I don't sound so much like a man today. But I thank you for being here. I thank you for listening. So as I said, some people are not going to like what I'm about to say or talk about today, but that's okay. I'm not trying to make anyone uncomfortable. I'm not judging anyone, and I'm not being like someone who's pointing fingers. Because sometimes growth does require uncomfortable conversations, okay? So someone was listening to a podcast or maybe an interview recently where a husband said something that stopped me in my tracks when I heard the conversation. He said that when him and his wife were engaged, she made it very clear she wasn't going to stay engaged forever. She wanted marriage, so they eventually got married. Now, fast forward to today. Now, this husband is frustrated. He says intimacy barely happens. It feels like a job to her. Says sex feels like it's become a chore. I guess he's feeling unwanted. Now, I wanted to listen to this for myself, so of course I tuned in. I had to go watch it. And while I was listening, I thought to myself, this conversation isn't really about sex. This conversation is about expectations. At least that's what I got from it, right? It's about effort. It's about connection. It's about what happens when two people get married and then they stop intentionally choosing each other. Now, my wife, she called me and said, because that's who told me about the podcast. She called me and said, hey, this is kind of us. And I was like, wait, what? Let me go listen to this podcast. And then I caught her back like, are you crazy? This is not us, because intimacy is not a problem. And sex is not a chore. It's just life is busy. Sometimes we don't get to have those moments all the time. And she was like, you know what? You're right. You're right. You know, you explained it. Thank you. Like, I broke it down for her. Like, babe, come on. This is not us. Because here's the truth. Marriage doesn't fix what dating ignored. A wedding doesn't fix poor communication. A wedding doesn't fix resentment. A wedding doesn't fix emotional distance, guys. A wedding does not fix inconsistency, and a wedding definitely don't fix a lack of effort. Marriage basically reveals what was already there. And that's why this conversation is important to me. Because I think there are people listening right now who are frustrated. Someone may feel unwanted or feeling disconnected. Some of you may feel like roommates. And to be completely transparent, because my marriage is not perfect. There was a time in our marriage where finances became like a burden, and we turned into roommates. And that's just the truth. We were roommates for months, basically. It just didn't feel, we were both in bad places. It was like hard. And thankfully, I am really big on talking. I have to talk about it. And she is becoming that person as well, to where now we're so connected to a point where nothing gets in between what we have. Not finances, not other people, not society views of us. Nothing gets in the way of what we have. Someone out here is feeling or wondering where that spark went. Some of you are wondering why things aren't what they used to be. And today we're going to talk about it. Now, let me be clear. This isn't a man versus a woman episode. This isn't husband versus wife episode. This isn't wife versus wife episode. And this is not husband versus husband episode. This is just a relationship episode. Because both people have responsibilities. Both people have needs. Both people deserve to feel valued. Both people deserve to feel desired. And both people deserve to have a healthy relationship, which is what I'm really big on. Because something that I've learned is most people don't leave a relationship because of one big thing. They leave because of 1,000 small things that they ignored along the way. The conversations may have stopped. The affection stopped. The appreciation stopped. The dates stopped. Oh my goodness, the dates, they stopped happening. The effort, that stopped happening. And eventually people begin feeling lonely while sitting right next to the person that they once loved the most in this entire world. Now I know I said a mouthful, but let's talk about it. I want you to remember that marriage doesn't fix what dating ignored. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing marriage will magically change things. It won't. Marriage doesn't create communication, and it doesn't create a certain trust that you may have already been missing. Marriage doesn't create romance. It doesn't create intimacy. What it does is it amplifies what's already there. So, okay, if you weren't communicating before you guys got married, you are going to struggle afterwards. If there was some type of resentment before you got married, it's still going to be there after you get married. If there was some type of unresolved issues before you guys got married, they're usually going to become a whole lot bigger after you get married. And I think that's why couples get so disappointed, because they expected the wedding to fix what only like intentional work can fix. Let me say that again. If you're listening and this resonates to you, you expected the wedding to fix what only intentional work can fix. So understand this, that a wedding lasts one day. The marriage requires effort every single day. The wedding lasts one day, but your marriage requires effort every day. Too many prepare for a wedding like for years. Not even for years. Some people take, let me not say years, all right? So some people take a whole 8 months to prepare for a wedding, sometimes longer, okay? Not enough people prepare for the marriage that comes with the wedding. And those are two totally, completely different things. All right, now, gentlemen, let me lovingly step on some toes. Come in for a second. Sometimes men stop dating their wives. You stop pursuing her, you stop flirting, you stop complimenting, you stop planning dates, you stop helping, you stop making her feel special, you stop making her feel seen, and 6 months later you're wondering, why isn't she interested? Sir, King, Mr. Man. When was the last time you took her on a date? When was the last time you brought her flowers? When was the last time you hugged her without expecting something afterwards? When was the last time you told her she looked beautiful? When was the last time you genuinely connected with her emotionally? Because here's what happened. Some men reduce romance to a 5-minute conversation before bedtime, then expect passion to magically appear. Life don't work like that. You cannot stop watering a plant and then complain when it's not growing, or complain when all the leaves turn brown. If every interaction only happens when you want something, eventually affection starts to feel like pressure. And most women don't just want physical intimacy. They want emotional intimacy too. They want that connection. They want that partnership. They want to feel valued outside of the bedroom. Okay, now ladies, I'm not finished. I want y'all to come here. Now, my ladies, my queens, my sisters, y'all know I love y'all. But let's be honest. Marriage is not the finish line. Sometimes women spend years saying, I can't wait to get married. I can't wait to be somebody's wife. I can't wait to have my husband so that he can do this, this, and that. Or this can be done. Or I can say my man, my husband. And then marriage happens. And somehow your effort disappears. That flirting disappears. Initiating disappears. That connection disappears. And then intimacy starts feeling like a negotiation. Now listen very carefully. Nobody owes anybody sex. But healthy marriages require healthy conversations about that intimacy. Your spouse wants to feel wanted too, not tolerated. Wanted. There is a difference, ladies. And when someone constantly feels rejected, eventually resentment begins to grow a lot. And resentment is very dangerous. Resentment doesn't just stay in one area. It starts affecting everything. And when I say everything, I mean your entire relationship, from communication to their patience to their affection to the connection. Everything. Now, here's the part that nobody wants to talk about. Most couples think that they have a sex problem. But many times they're just having a connection problem, a communication problem, and maybe a stress problem, a parenting problem, a resentment problem, a partnership problem, and all of those things eventually show up in the bedroom. Because intimacy isn't just physical. It starts long before anyone enters the bedroom. It starts in how you talk to each other. It starts in how you support each other, how you appreciate each other. How safe do you guys feel together? When emotional intimacy disappears, physical intimacy often follows. All right, so back to this podcast, right? And the whole purpose of me doing this podcast, this particular subject on this particular Friday, they talked about monogamy and polygamy. Now, one thing that the husband said that really caught my attention, he basically said, excuse me, If you know you don't want to deal with him always wanting just you, then why push monogamy on him? Now, that's a loaded statement. And before anybody starts throwing tomatoes at their phone, let's talk about it, okay? Let's define monogamy and let's define polygamy. All right, so monogamy is when a relationship is a relationship where two people agree to be like exclusively committed to like just each other. Not just physically, but emotionally. Just to each other. One partner, one relationship, just each other, all right? That's what most marriages and relationships in our society are built around, monogamy. Now, polygamy, or more broadly, what people today called ethical non-monogamy, involves multiple romantic or intimate partners with the knowledge and consent of everyone involved. So, like, everyone is in an agreement. The key word there is consent, not cheating, not sneaking, not lying, not living a double life. Everybody involved understands the agreement. Now, here's my take. The issue isn't whether somebody chooses monogamy or polygamy. Nobody can push you into anything. Nobody can force you into anything. All right, so I want to make that disclaimer. The issue is whether both people agree on that same type of relationship structure. He basically is saying, like, you wanted this marriage. You said you didn't want to stay engaged too long. We got married, but now you're not giving me what I desire or what I need, or it's a chore to you, or you feel like it's a job. But neither person in their scenario is necessarily wrong. It's so hard to have these conversations sometimes because many people are going to agree and a ton of people are going to disagree. Now, let me say something to make both sides feel uncomfortable. If you agree to monogamy, then you're agreeing that your romantic and sexual needs will be addressed within that relationship. That's just the truth. That doesn't mean your spouse owes you sex on demand, though. Let's be clear about that. It doesn't mean that both people have a responsibility to do something they don't feel like doing if they're extremely exhausted. But it does mean that both people have a responsibility to care about the health of their relationship. And that includes intimacy. That's a huge part. At the same time, if you're in a monogamous relationship, you don't get to use "I'm not getting enough" as an excuse to betray your partner either. See, that's where communication comes in at. Because the real question is, should I be monogamous or should I try the polygamous way? The real question is, have we been honest about our expectations? Have we really sat down and talked about intimacy? Have we talked about our needs? Have we talked about why the sex stopped? Why I don't feel the intimacy anymore? Have we talked about what makes us feel desired? Too many couples spend time planning a wedding, then discussing the realities of marriage. And then 5 years later, they're shocked by problems they never talked about in the first place. I mean, come on. So to answer that husband's statement, I would say this. If you choose monogamy, then both people should be intentional about maintaining that connection. But nobody should be pressured into intimacy. And if you want a different type of relationship structure, that conversation needs to happen. And also, ladies, if that's a conversation he brings up, don't get so upset to where you feel like, oh, he wants to go cheat. He's talking to you about it. Healthy relationships are not built on assumptions. They're built on agreements, conversations, honesty, communication. All right, one thing I've learned from officiating weddings is that every couple is happy on wedding day. Everybody's smiling. Everybody's excited. Everybody's in love. The pictures are beautiful. The clothes are beautiful. Everything's so expensive. The decorations are beautiful. But marriage is not built on a wedding day. Marriage is built 6 months later, 1 year later, 5 years later, when life gets hard, when bills show up, when stress shows up, when children show up, when responsibility shows up, that's where marriage lives. Marriage lives in those ordinary moments. Marriage lives in our daily choices. It lives in our effort, and marriage lives in consistency. Ladies and gentlemen, marriage lives in the decision to keep showing up, even when it's not easy. Now, let's get spicy for a second. Can I ask y'all a hard question? It might not be hard for you because you may think you know the answer, but do you really? Do you want a spouse or do you want a title? Answer that. Do you want a spouse or do you want a title? Do you want a marriage or do you want wedding pictures to brag about on social media? Or to get married before your homegirl who graduated with you, who's doing better as far as career-wise? Like, are you getting married to prove a point to the world? Because some people spend years dreaming about the ceremony, but never ever prepare for the maintenance. The wedding is the event, but the marriage is the commitment. The wedding is the day, but the marriage is a lifestyle. And here's a quote that's probably going to make somebody mad today. You wanted the wedding pictures, but did you want the work? Did you? Because the work is where healthy marriages are built. Not in the ceremony, not on social media, not in the honeymoon phase, but in your daily choices. Now, like I said, I know I was going to step on some toes. I know I was going to make somebody feel uncomfortable. And that's okay. I still love you. And I still hope you're here listening. Because I'm not here to judge and I'm not here to make anyone feel weird. I'm here to provide real conversations from a professional person. Like, this is what I do. Okay? I'm just not judging. Let's get into some love gems, my loves. All right, so first I want you to know that marriage doesn't end the pursuit, it begins a new version of it. Your spouse should never stop dating you. Connection creates intimacy. Feeling desire matters to both women and men. The strongest marriages are not perfect. They are intentional. Now, I hope this episode resonated with you. I hope it helped you. I hope it cleared up some things in your head. But let's get into some affirmations before we do that. You know, we got to take a deep breath in and out because I know I went in today. So, take a deep breath in and slowly let it out. Now, repeat after me. I choose connection over complacency. I communicate my needs honestly. I remain intentional in my relationships. I deserve love that is mutual. I deserve effort and I give effort. I choose growth over comfort. I choose love intentionally. I am worthy of affection and appreciation. I nurture the relationship that matters to me. Healthy love begins with intentional choices. And one more thing. I am loved. I am valued. I am worthy. All right, my loves, thank you guys so much for spending the time with me today. It's Friday. I'm not trying to hold you up forever. If today's episode touched your heart, helped you in some way, or reminded you that you're not alone, be sure to follow the podcast. Share it with someone who may need it. I am literally on every single streaming platform. When I say every single one, from SiriusXM to Pandora to iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music. Listen to me. I'm everywhere. YouTube. And so my Instagram is Love with Martis. My TikTok and Facebook is Martis the Love Coach. My website is martisthelovecoach.com. Continue buying these self-healing journals. I have the self-healing journals for adults, self-healing journals for teens. Call Back to Me. and I have couple journals, and these are guided journals, okay? The guided journal for couples is called The Love Between Us. All right, so remember, new episodes of Letters to the Love Coach air every Wednesday. Continue to send me those letters, and then Lessons with Martis will drop every Friday. Until next time, keep healing, keep growing, keep loving yourself, and remember, you deserve the love you're looking for. I'm Martis, the Love Coach. I love you guys so much, and I'll talk to you soon.
This is Love Talk with Martis, the Love Coach, where the truth meets the touch, and the heart finds hope. Love Talk with Martis, the Love Coach, healing in the words, growing as you grow. Yeah, yeah, Love Talk. Press play, breathe in. Let the wisdom settle in where you've been. Every scar teacher, every tear a guide. Real love start the moment you stop trying to hide. Tune in, fall in, rise up. Yeah, this is love. Yeah, this is